Now, for 8 years, you, as a twosome, have lived under an intense pressure that few people can understand. What effect did that have on your marriage? Have you felt that bond change?
Yeah, it's definitely brought us closer. I mean, Barack talks about this all the time. I mean, before we moved here, he spent most of our marriage, particularly with young kids, commuting in some way, shape, or form. When he was state senator, we stayed in Chicago, and he commuted back and forth from Springfield in Illinois. Then he became a U.S. senator. Because I had a profession, we stayed in Chicago. He commuted back and forth. So it wasn't until we moved to the White House that we were together 7 days a week, that we could have dinner together, that he had time to coach the girls' teams and, go to all the events. Yes, the job, carries its stresses for sure. I always say that nobody knows what it feels like to wake up and look at the morning paper and know that every headline, good or bad, is your responsibility. Wherever it's happening in the world, there is a weightiness, there is a heaviness to that no other person, even in the administration, really understands. So there's that, and when you feel that burden, you really have to fall back on the normalcy and the love of your family. I think probably some of the best moments for Barack is when he could come up on that elevator, come to the second floor, sit down at the dinner table, and have no one care about anything he does, at all. I mean, literally. Just talked over, talked around. He'd be the last, oh, by the way, Dad, oh yeah, what did you do today? Yeah. They're usually getting up and leaving by the time
it gets to me.
Just like,
I did have an interesting conversation with Prime Minister so-and-so. I got to go do my homework. Sorry.
But that is a grounding, experience. And our travel together, I mean, I wish we could have done more. I mean, there was a lot of divide and conquer. I could travel when the girls were on vacation. But the trips that we did take as a family are ones that we'll remember for the rest of our lives. And they're trips that you don't take, they're not normal family vacations. And those experiences have definitely brought us together in ways that we wouldn't have if we weren't here.
Well, and I also think that watching Michelle as First Lady has just increased, my awe and respect for her. Because in some ways she had to adapt to both a life that she might not have chosen for herself, but also there's no blueprint for being First Lady. And to see her and her team be able to shape the culture and have such an impact on our military families and on health and wellness, and be at once really impactful on policy, but also fun. It's fun when you see your spouse shine, and she's shown.